that's why we're here. I'm excited to have so many of us here at the moment. Looks like there's 62 projectors coming in, and if you click on the chat, and if you've just arrived, there'll be people sharing where they're from. I see Germany, Israel, Australia. So we're all coming in from different parts of the world. Awesome. So let's all take a few deep breaths together. Let's all close our eyes if you're in a position to do so. And let's all take an inhale together now. And an exhale, just realizing that we're on a call with other projectors. There's similarities, there's familiarities, and it's beautiful to ground ourselves into our energy, and then also to feel the energy that is within this call as well. Taking another inhale, and then exhaling slowly, maybe even letting out a noise, just really grounding into yourself at this time. And then taking one more inhale, the biggest one yet. And then letting it all go. Okay, awesome. Now, I would recommend getting a pen and paper. So I'll just wait for 20 or 30 seconds if you do want to get a notepad and pen, because I'll be going through quite a few different things, and I would recommend taking some notes. That could be helpful moving forward, just so you don't miss certain things that you might want to remember. And as you're getting that, I'll just slowly begin to start speaking. But we're currently in a time that is quite unprecedented. So as you look out into the world, as you look into the media, as you speak to your friends, your family, people around you, if we look beneath the surface, old ways are dying. And things are literally being broken down. And astrologically speaking, an event happened January 12th with the planets Saturn and Pluto that came in, and it was a once in 500 to 700 year event. And this was all about Pluto coming in and transforming the structures, Saturn, of the way we do things in this world. So if things are not based in truth, if they're not based in harmony with how nature works and the flow of life, well, then Pluto's coming in and breaking it down. So that is what we are seeing. That's what we're in. It's almost like we're in a movie currently. Things are literally being broken down, and we're in it day to day. We're in it. We're seeing it. And I believe that this will be a time that people will look back on and be like, wow, we were living in that time. And so for us projectors, 2027 all the way up until a big shift, this is occurring. This is our time to ground our energy within ourselves, to ground our health within ourselves, our wellness, our well-being. The foundation of us as humans is health, vitality, well-being, because that's the currency we have. It's energy. And then we can go out and do things and give to people and support and follow our dreams, follow our purpose, our passion. So there's going to be a focus on this webinar on projector health and well-being because of that reason. Potentially, we were born as projectors for this time and for the current next 7 years and beyond, to bring in this wave of new consciousness, to bring in this wave of new awareness, a wave of beingness. And up until this time, the world has been run in quite a masculine dominated way, a generator way, doing over being, thinking. But now we're coming into a space where beingness is going to be highly valuable. So what does this mean? This means that the quality of a human, the success of a human, the recognition, especially of us projectors, will be recognized via the essence of who we are, the presence of what we exude to our environment, to the people around us. Previously, there's been a lot of status, a lot of masculinity, a lot of successful business people have forced their way to the top in an unhealthy way. And as you can see, that is breaking down. People are being held accountable now for that. It was about what car are you driving? What house have you got? It was status. Moving into this new era, there's going to be a lot more attention on what is that person here to give to this world? What is that person's true intention? What's underneath the words that they're saying? Because we're going to be so sensitive and we're going to be tapping into this. So the people that have done the inner work, that have shown up, that have cultivated this sense of presence, this sense of beingness, this sense of feminine trust, flow, and abundance, these qualities are going to be highly valuable moving forward into the future. And these qualities come naturally for us projectors. The conditioned patterns that we've grown into in this life have muddied these parts of us. But if we can focus on deconditioning these old ways of doing things, these old ways of being, and actually find our true essence, our true nature, this will be highly, highly valuable for the world, for your community, for your family, and for yourself moving forward. So in this webinar, I'm going to be sharing specific tools, specific understandings on how we can empower ourselves as projectors at this time. And there's going to be, as I say, a focus on wellness and health. According to human design, the frequency is rising at this moment, going back to 2027, as I've mentioned. There's a mutation happening within our DNA. And Ra mentioned this. This is the human. He's currently no longer alive, but this is the human who the transmission came through for human design. And he mentioned, moving up to 2027, that most humans will not be ready for what's to come because it's a big shift. And I believe that we're seeing the beginnings of this shift that people, structures, things are breaking down. And one of the best ways to hold ourselves within the shift, because the light is coming into our body, into our DNA. So we want to create a container for our body, for our physical nature, to receive this energy rather than having, bad habits, unhealthy diet, unhealthy lifestyle, unhealthy boundaries, conditioned patterns that projectors are susceptible to. If we keep running in that way, walking in that way, jogging in that way, we're going to be taught lessons because life wants us to move into alignment quite quickly at this time. I really feel that. So I suggest we all make a commitment to our health and well-being. And maybe we can even do that now. And maybe you could set an intention on what health is for you, what well-being is for you, and how you want to move forward and live your life in the future, knowing that this is vitally important for anyone on this planet, but then for projectors even more so because we're susceptible, and I'll go into this in a little bit, but we're highly susceptible to certain illnesses or physical imbalances in a way because of our sensitivity, because of the way our aura is built and these things. So if we don't prioritize this, then we get hit harder, which is unfortunate, but it's also a blessing in disguise because I was hit hard at a young age, but because of that, I was able to recognize, I'm not living in alignment. I need to move out of this pattern because I was so sensitive. And then I started to move into healthy habits, healthy ways of living. So it was a blessing in disguise. So this webinar will most likely go for around 70 minutes, I would say, just for timing, so you can plan it. There'll also be a recording, so that will be sent out as well in a day or so. We're going to begin with a little meditation. Then I'm going to go into the projector immune system, common health issues projectors might experience, and then ultimately how we can move into health as projectors and increase our immunity. So this will take 2 or 3 minutes. We're just going to drop into a little meditation to further ground the energy, because I know I've already talked a little bit, and it's a good opportunity as projectors to be stimulated, to open up, and then to come back and ground the energy. And if we don't do that, then what happens is our aura, our mind can be overstimulated, and it can jump from this to this to this. And unless we ground like the roots of a tree, then we don't fully find our center and we get pulled around in life. So I'm going to invite everyone now to close their eyes. Take a deep breath. Exhale. And I want you to bring your attention and awareness to your body. And notice where the energy is in your body. Where are the sensations that you're feeling? Is there any pressure? Is there any heat? Is there any tightness or pain or warmth or numbness? What do you feel in the body? And now I want you to consciously bring your attention to your feet and your legs, the lower half of the body, the more grounded part of the body. And see if you can relax this lower part of the body a little bit more. So you might want to move your feet a little bit, your legs, and then when they come to stillness, just see how much you can relax the muscles, the tissue, the energy within this part of the body. If there's agitation or there's feelings of uncomfortability, welcome those feelings. Know that that's just energy, that's just a vibration. And then as you keep relaxing the lower half of the body, I want you to start inviting some breath into the lower half of the body. So as you inhale deeper. Visualize the oxygen, the energy, the breath moving down into the legs, into the feet. Notice how the breath gets slower, deeper, more grounded. Going back to what I was sharing before, this is working on the quality of your nervous system. The quality of your beingness, when you can slow down, become still, and bring the breath deeper into the body. Nothing to do, just be. Be with your breath, Be with your body. Less than a minute to go, so just really trying to relax the lower half of the body, relaxing the pelvis, relaxing the legs, relaxing the feet, and inviting the breath into these parts of the body. And now take 3 breaths, inhaling and exhaling a little bit more. Staying with the breath. And after you've inhaled and exhaled 3 times, you can slowly open your eyes. Be gentle on your nervous system. Don't jump out when you're finished and then open your eyes and have all your attention outward. See if you can slowly open your eyes. See if you can slowly become aware of your body before putting your attention on me. Just slowly integrating your internal experience with your external experience. Just noticing if there's any difference from when you went into that meditation and now within yourself. Okay. So some of you probably are seeing me for the first time, so I welcome you. Some of you, we work together one-on-one. Some have taken my Projector 6-week training. And others of you probably seen some YouTube videos or Instagram posts about different things, and specifically because you're here, things on human design and projectors. So I'm Australian and I'm currently in LA, and I've been all around the world studying health, wellness, detoxification, vitality for the past 10 years. And I've been to India, I've lived in ashrams, I've been to South America, Eastern Europe, Florida, all different parts of the world, studying health and wellness. And I'm a certified detoxification specialist. In addition to health and wellness, I've studied human design and the projector nature for over 5 years. And I've majored in psychology, I'm a Psych K facilitator, and I've studied network chiropractic. So it was interesting when I was purely a health coach some years ago. People who were coming to me for help that didn't even know about human design, and I wouldn't talk to them so much about human design. They just came specifically about health. I'd blend it in at times when necessary, but I would ask them at the beginning for their birth chart. I'd run their information just in the background to support me in supporting them. And there was a huge amount of projectors, much more than 20% of the population. And so I started to investigate and understand why projectors were experiencing these health issues more so than the rest of the population. And it's because we don't have a sacral center, which is the strongest motor. It's the strongest abundant energy source that someone can have. So 70% of the population have this energy source. So therefore, because they're the majority of the population, that's what has created this world, this 9-to-5 world. So then we come along and we're born into families of generators, of manifesting generators most of the time. The odds suggest that that's the way it would be. And we come in without this sacral center, and often no motors, or, there's 4 major motors. There's 4 motors in the body graph. And we come in with less energy than most, yet we're supposed to act and be like most, And what ends up happening is we actually amplify the energy because we try and overcompensate. So we're even trying harder than most, yet we have less energy than most. So then we hit double as hard, and that's what we're left with. And I have experienced that. So I'm talking from experience here, and I'm also talking because I've spoken to many, many people who this has occurred to. And I'm sure many people here have certain health concerns, and you're wanting to support your health and support it in a way that is supportive and not from a system that was set up by generators for 70% of the population. But before I go into the common health issues and then actually what we can do in supporting our health, I want to mention, because this is a free webinar and you will leave with some really great wisdom and information that you can implement immediately to increase your wellness. Over the past few months as well, I've been creating a more in-depth training, and it's an 8-week wellness projector training, and it's called the Inner Circle. And there's going to be a small group of people that I'm going to take through, and there's 3 other projector experts in their respective fields that are also going to be supporting this process. And it's going to be an 8-week container to implement structures, rhythms, routine, and internal shifts to take your wellness, health, groundedness, deconditioning to the next level. So I'll mention a little bit more about that at the end, but I did want to mention that if you're wanting to go deeper, then that is available. So some common health issues that you might be experiencing as a projector and what I've seen in projectors. Anxiety, depression. So this is more an emotional tone, an emotional quality of things. Physically burnout, fatigue, specifically around the adrenal glands, because we can have adrenal fatigue. We can really try to go, and the adrenal glands are the ones to get hit the fastest and the quickest and the hardest. Weaker immune systems at times because of our sensitivity and because of our lymphatic system, which I'll be touching on why that is. Chronic health problems, addictions, at times chaotic relationships. That can bring up, that can be quite energetically draining sometimes. Sleep issues, skin issues, allergies, and these are just to name some. So these are things that you may be experiencing at this time. So now I'm going to go into some specific areas on some minerals, some vitamins, diet, ways of living, ways of being to protect your immune system, to support your immune system, and to have your health as a projector thrive, because it really can thrive as a projector. And from someone who's been through it myself, I'm excited to offer you this information so you can go and implement and understand and accept yourself as well, because it can be challenging at times when we are the minority. Okay, so due to our slightly vulnerable nervous system, and when we have a slightly open, sensitive nervous system, this can further impact our immune system. So we want to strengthen this. So one way of strengthening this initially, and at this time, vitally important that we all strengthen our immune systems, we want to focus on some specific ratios. So let's begin with vitamin D. And vitamin D needs to be in a healthy ratio with vitamin A. Vitamin D is actually a hormone though, but it's called vitamin D, but it's actually a hormone. It's produced in the kidneys, liver, skin, and we get it from the sun. We can also get it from supplementation and certain foods. This hormone, known as vitamin D, helps to balance the minerals within our blood, and this directly impacts our immune system. So what I'd be recommending is to increase your dose of vitamin D. So I'm just going to share, so I'm personally 5,000 to 10,000 units of vitamin D, just at this time specifically. If you're just wanting maintenance, you can have 1,000 to 2,000 units of vitamin D. The ratio that I was talking about with vitamin A is very important. So you actually need a lot more units of vitamin A than you do vitamin D for the vitamin D to work in a healthy way and for the liver to be supported. What is vitamin A? Vitamin A is retinol, which is animal fat. So this brings up the thing of vegans. So if you are not a vegan, then if you're supplementing with vitamin D, I would highly suggest having some butter or some ghee. This has huge levels of vitamin A, which will increase the absorption of vitamin D, which will ultimately filter down to your immune system being a lot more strong and healthy. If you're a vegan, I wouldn't supplement too high levels of vitamin D because we're looking for that ratio, but you could find a plant-based vitamin A supplement. It's not as potent and as powerful as you would get from something like ghee and butter for vitamin A. So that's why I suggest a little bit less of the vitamin D because of the ratio. You also need vitamin K for this, and that's green leafy vegetables will really help with that. Cod liver is in perfect ratio for vitamin A to vitamin D. So if you get a good quality cod liver oil, then you can supplement with this, and this is a very powerful. It's not a herb; it's a liquid. It's like an oil, and to supplement this will greatly enhance your immune system. The other thing that I want to mention now is a mushroom, and this mushroom is potentially the best antiviral substance that has been studied, and it's very potent. So if you have this in your body and then you come in contact with certain viruses, it can be very supportive to protect your cells, protect your body from viruses. And this is known as chaga mushroom. So chaga mushroom, C-H-A-G-A mushroom. As I said, this is one of the best things you can be putting in your body if you're looking to support your immune system from viruses. Now to the current state of, most of us have probably heard about the coronavirus. It's hard to know what is fully real, not real. Ultimately, it's just having us take care of ourselves. It's highlighting the fact that we want to increase our immunity, increase our health at this time. And what seems to be happening is it does seem to be going with 4 people, and this is natural. If you come into contact with a virus, it'll obviously have larger impact on people that have compromised immune systems. So Mother Nature's currently taking a course, and us as projectors, because of the vulnerability of our immune systems, we do want to supplement with these things that I've suggested to increase our natural immunity and to support our immune system. Now, of course, there's all the basic things: a healthy diet, good sleep, rest, relaxation, but it's the things that I mentioned specifically can bolster your immune system quite profoundly. And in my 8-week training that will be beginning in, I think it's probably in 2 weeks' time, I'll be going into much greater detail on specific ways in addressing certain projector ailments and some more herbs, some more vitamins, some more minerals to enhance that as well. Now I want to transition to projective diet. Now, it's important, every person, and this goes back to human design, there's 12 unique digestive systems. So it is helpful to know out of those 12 unique digestive systems within human design what you are, because this sets a nice container and context for how you are supposed to eat in relationship to human design. So everyone's quite different, everyone's quite unique, so there's not one prescribed way of eating. But as a projector, the projector energy is often upward, it moves upward. We can be mentally overstimulated because we don't have that sacral center, which is a strong anchor of energy, a strong motor center. So when we don't have that center and that's open and undefined, which we don't as projectors, we have a tendency to absorb this energy and it to be amplified. And rather than having the ability to ground this energy, because pretty much nobody here, I imagine, grew up being guided how to ground their energy, how to work with their emotions, how to emotionally regulate. So there's this tendency to amplify, and when we amplify, this energy moves upwards. And so there's certain food combinations and ways of eating that can ground, so we can use our diet to ground our energy. And one gift for projectors can be found within the Ayurvedic system, which is an ancient Indian system. And they outline 3 doshas, so 3 main energetics that people have and they come into this world with, and then they can be imbalanced. And that's Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. I'm going to be focusing a little bit on Vata, because Vata, generally projectors can go into this essence of Vata, which is where the energy comes up into our mind, and we can be up here, and sometimes we're so up here that we don't know that we're here, because that's just who we are. And then when we drop down into our bodies, is we notice, well, I've noticed, and I notice when I work with people, that there's this huge shift. It's like a clunk, it's like an anchor. And it's like, oh wow, I'm actually grounded in my physical body, lower in my physical body, rather than up here. Because up here, then the nervous system moves really quickly and we try and figure everything out and fix everything. And this element, or this energy of Vata, brings in the quality of air and ether, air and space. So I'm going to share with you a recipe that you can include just before you go to bed that can be very supportive for you to bring this Vata energy down more into the body. So this recipe is very warming, it's nourishing, it's calming. And because of the projector nature, it's very balancing and grounding. So the recipe is, so you can put into a blender. So if you've got a blender, you put in 5 dates. You put in a cup of milk, and this is where, you know, you've probably been taking notes as we've been going, but this would be something to also take notes on if you're interested. If you feel like your energy can at times be ungrounded, to come back, drop into your body, drop it down, then I recommend writing down this recipe and trying it for a week and seeing how it is, seeing how you sleep, seeing what happens. So 5 dates, a cup of milk. Now this can be good quality dairy milk, or it could be oat milk, almond milk, oat milk, you know, there's different types of milks, coconut milk. Cinnamon, so 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. And then to sweeten it, it can be some honey or some maple syrup. And then optional, you can put a little bit of vanilla in if you want. And then you blend this up You can warm it. So ideally, you wouldn't take the milk straight out of the fridge and drink a cold glass of milk before bed. Ideally, you would either warm the milk or make the drink and then slightly warm it on the stove. I'd recommend the stove, not the microwave. It better keeps the nutritional value if you use the stove. And then have this warming drink about 30 minutes before bed. As I've said, this will soften your nervous system. This will ground your nervous system. This will nourish your nervous system at the most important time for it to be nourishing, as it drops down into deep rest, relaxation, and sleep. I'm excited to share as well that an incredible Ayurvedic practitioner, and she's a projector, will also be coming along the journey and supporting the process throughout the 8-week training that I am offering. So that's very exciting to have her support and guidance, which will take it to another level, because her having that project essence and also an Ayurvedic doctor, blending the two can be hugely supportive. Okay, let's all take a few breaths. I'll just allow people to make some notes. Maybe even close the eyes. As I said, there's this stimulation within the projector energy, and then it's about grounding and coming back. So coming back to the breath, coming back to the lower part of the body. Just having these little pauses throughout the day can be incredible to support the natural rhythm, flow, and balance of the projector nervous system. So let's just take some silence for 10 to 20 seconds, and then we'll move into some more supportive processes. Just taking one collective inhale. And then exhaling and letting it go. So I'm just looking at some comments briefly, and someone asked, could you add chaga to the recipe? 100% you can add chaga to the recipe. You could also add reishi mushroom, which is very nourishing for the spirit, for the soul. So one or both of these to that recipe would be really nourishing and healing. Chaga is more immunity, and reishi is more building this essence of Shen, which is the spirit. So you could use both. You could use one week, one another week. And someone asked, before I go on, someone asked about the different types of projectors. So in my training, I'll be further going into the different types of projectors and how this slightly impacts different types of projectors, because there's 5 unique types. But now this is information that can be used for all projectors. Okay, just checking the time. Okay, beautiful. The next thing I want to mention to support you as a projector on your health journey is going to be about blood pressure. So firstly, what is blood pressure? And well, blood pressure, surprise, surprise, it's the pressure in the blood. And the importance of the blood pressure is extremely important. And when we talk about from information from the medical system, they also share this view that it's extremely important, but they only share it for the point of view most of the time if it's high blood pressure. They don't share the view that it's vitally important if you have low blood pressure. So we have 50 to 100 trillion cells in the body. This is what we're made of. The blood feeds these 50 to 100 trillion cells in the body. So it takes oxygen, it takes nutrition to all our cells and then feeds the cell. If you have low blood pressure, this means the pressure in the blood is like deflated, it's low. Projectors are susceptible to low blood pressure. So if you know your blood pressure, you'll know if you have low blood pressure or not. If you don't know it, well, then I can let you know some common signs that you might have low blood pressure, but you could also get your blood pressure taken, or you can buy something that's quite cheap, just take it yourself as well. But if your blood is going past all the cells and it's low, and low would be anywhere below 115. So naturally people say 120 to 80, over 80, or 120 over 70. This is the sort of normal range. Yet if someone has a blood pressure, let's say of 105 over 70, that's going to mean that the pressure in the blood is not going to have the force, the impact, the strength to drive the oxygen, to drive the minerals, the vitamins, the hormones into the cell. So the blood's going to be going across, the cell's going to be hungry because the blood feeds the cell, and it's going to be hungry, but the pressure will not be enough to get all the necessary nutrition in. So therefore, if we have low blood pressure, we often find ourselves feeling weak, feeling tired, feeling low energy, feeling fatigued. When we stand up, we can get dizzy. We could get headaches. That's another thing that could indicate low blood pressure. Dizziness, as I've said. Visually, we could have things in our vision that indicate that, like little dots or little spots, or not the best vision. This can also be a sign of low blood pressure. But the best way is to just get it, just to see if you do have low blood pressure or not. And most people will know naturally, because if they've been to the doctor, that's one of the first things the doctors will monitor, the blood pressure. So I want to suggest that it is very important, the pressure of your blood. And as I've witnessed, projectors are naturally susceptible to low blood pressure. So you could be doing all these healing things, you could be having a great diet, you could be having herbs, you could be spending thousands of dollars on special herbs and special things. Yet if you've got low blood pressure, whatever you're putting in your body is not fully getting into your cells. It's not what we put in our mouth, it's what's actually absorbed into our cells that matter. So this is a really important thing. And one way to increase blood pressure, so if you do have low blood pressure, one way to increase blood pressure is licorice root. So you can just buy this in capsule form. You can get it in a powder, you can get it in a tea, and licorice root is something that is slightly sweet, and it will slowly enhance your blood pressure. Blood pressure is also very much linked to the quality and the health of your adrenal glands. So this is something that we also need to address, is the health of your adrenal glands, which sit on top of your kidneys, which is also very important for this process. And ultimately, the adrenal glands and kidneys support the process of the lymphatic system, which brings me into my next point about the lymphatic system. So what is the lymphatic system? Once again, the medical industry focuses a lot of attention on blood. The lymphatic system is actually there's more liquid in the lymphatic system than there is in the blood system. So about 70% of the body's fluids is lymph fluids. So it's vitally important, yet it's not focused on much at all. And yet again, projectors' lymphatic system can be more stagnant than the average person, because it's that energy, it's that generation of energy. And because we don't have that being produced in us, the lymphatic system can be more sluggish. It can be slower. We do not have a heart. to pump around our lymphatic system. The heart pumps around the blood. So lymphatic system moves from deep breathing. It moves from moving the body. It moves via some foods, some herbs, some specific things that are astringent, and moves and pulls the lymphatic system into our lymph nodes, which cleans our lymphatic system, which drains our lymphatic system into our kidneys, which drains it out of the body. So this is something, once again, as projectors, if we have a slower lymphatic system, which is inherently in us unless we support it consciously, this can cause allergies. Specifically, this can cause skin issues. Specifically, joint pain, feeling dull, low energy. The lymphatic system's like the bathroom of, let's say we have a house. Well, we eat and we go to the toilet. We eat in the kitchen and we go to the toilet in the bathroom. Every cell is like us as well. Every cell in the body eats, goes to the toilet. Every cell eats from the blood, and then the toilet, the bathroom, is the lymphatic system. Yet a lot of projector lymphatic systems are slow, are clogged. It's like a swamp instead of clean mountain water flowing through the body. It's like swampy. So then the cells are dumping their waste, their toxins, into the lymphatic system. And if it's not flowing well, then the cells end up almost bathing in this fluid, which is highly acidic, which is toxic. And so naturally we feel low, we feel dull, we'll feel low energy, we'll feel like, I remember when my lymphatic system, me personally, was super clogged. I was full of allergies. I was congested beyond I thought was possible. And I remember waking up each and every morning and it felt like I'd been hit by a truck or something. I'd be like, boom, and it would be so heavy inside me. And it was only when I started to move towards health in a way of cleaning my kidneys, cleaning my and strengthening my adrenal glands, and then moving my lymphatic system, because the adrenal glands and kidney is like the plug on the bath. Let's say you have a bathtub, which is the lymphatic system. If you unhook the plug, then it can drain out of the body. And this is like the kidney and adrenal glands. So everything can work back in a way. So we want to be supporting all levels of health, specifically for projectors, to support us so then our blood can function well. We've got the pressure to push it in. We're having the right herbs. We're eating the right way. We're moving our lymph system in a healthy and abundant and vital way. And when we do this, and this is only the physical part I've touched on, you know, there's the mental aspect, the emotional aspect, which potentially even have a greater aspect and impact on our health. But when we start to align our physical bodies and support our physical bodies in profound ways, it's unimaginable. If you haven't done this, it's unimaginable how you can feel, the difference that you can feel inside your body when you're supporting yourself in these ways. Life starts to actually be uplifting and joyful, and energy starts to come through the body that was not there previously. And that ripples out into everything, into relationships, into your purpose, into what you're giving to the world, what you're receiving, everything. The quality of your life greatly enhances. Okay, I'm going to continue, but I just want to make sure, just looking at the any questions. Okay. Some people are mentioning that they, do have low blood pressure, and that's an easy one to check. The lymphatic system, you can't really check that. There's no real test to know whether my lymphatic system is functioning well or not, but pretty much the quality of your health and vitality will be relational or connected to the quality and health of your lymphatic system. It's vitally important, and not that many people focus on it. 70 to 75% of the body's fluids is lymph fluids, and that's what's taking the waste toxins from every cell in the body. So it's super important. Okay, the next thing that I want to mention is the importance of having a morning routine as projectors. Because our aura is focused outwardly, because we are here to guide our environment, we are very good at knowing what's good for others, guiding others in the right direction. You've probably noticed that in your life, that you'll be able to pick up on like, oh wow, like that would just be better to do, or oh, this person really should just do this, or the business that I work in, like they really just need to do this and everything would be better. And if you've tried to share that, then maybe you've been knocked down or ignored, or these things, because timing is really important as well for projectors. Because we're almost like a high level of being a projector is allowing source, allowing spirit, allowing energy to move through us and guiding life in a very synchronistic, right timing manner. So if we are going up to people and saying like, oh, you really need to do this at this time, and because that's going to improve this and this, and it's the wrong time for them to hear that, because they need to go through their own journey until they're ready for that information potentially, or whatever it is. We've interrupted the natural flow of life. So then people are like, well, back off. And then we start to feel a little bit bitter about, oh, like, why is no one listening to me? Like, I can see what happens and I'm sharing this. And this is where we want to focus our healing within, on our own beingness, our own trust, our own health, and have that radiate out and have that magnetize the right situations, the right opportunities to you. So because our aura is outwardly focused and it's so open, so we can get pulled, we can literally get pulled by other people's energy. And the first part of the day, are you allowing yourself to be pulled as soon as you wake up? To be pulled out, to be pulled out, to be pulled out, and start the day off being pulled with all your energy being scattered everywhere? Or are you creating a powerful container for yourself in the morning to begin the day, to choose your frequency, your vibration? What's going to be coming out of you into the world, not what you're just being dragged around like a leaf in the wind. Because if you allow yourself to do that, you'll get very bitter, because you'll just be like a puppet and like people will be pulling strings. And it's like, well, where am I in this equation? So the first part of the day, can you create a structure, whether it's for 5 minutes or an hour? I spent a year doing anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours of meditation, yoga, internal processes, which was obviously quite hardcore in that way. But I was very like, this was quite a few years ago, but I was like really about, no, like I need to protect my health. I need to protect my vitality, because at that time I didn't have so much of it. And it was important for me to take that back, because no one else is really going to, like family, friends, they're not going to do it for you. You have to do it. So you have to commit to yourself that the start of my day, whether it's 5 minutes, whether an hour, whatever you choose, this time is for me. It doesn't have to be every day. It can be 5 days, it can be 2 days, whatever you want. It's Good if you can do it every day. But this is an important time. What can you put into your morning routine? Well, there's a few things specifically that could be supportive for you as a projector. And I want to do this now with you all. This is what I suggest when you wake up. So when you wake up, getting some movement in the body is going to be important, especially into your joints. Because if you've been lying down for anywhere from, 5 to 10 or 11 hours or something, the joints can start to become stagnant, especially if they're not full of vitality, especially if maybe you're a little bit older and these things. So bringing movement into the joints. But after you've slowly warmed up the body, what I want you to do, or what I suggest or invite you to do, is bring in some body tapping. And we're going to do this all together now. So I invite you, if you do have the opportunity to do this, then do it with me. I'm going to turn my microphone off because it might be a bit loud, but you'll still be able to hear me before we do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to tap our bodies quite firmly, if it's comfortable, not on the joints, but really tap the body as strongly as you can without causing yourself pain. What this is going to do, this is going to bring your energy, your aura back home. So you start with a solid base. So you start with the solid groundedness. And if you do this properly now, you'll feel different after. It only has to go for a minute, 2 minutes. We'll keep it short here. But I invite everyone to do it. Okay, so I'm going to put mine on mute. So just keep tapping your body quite firmly to bring the energy back into the body. Make sure you go down to the lower part of the body. Make sure you tap the legs. You should really get physically in the body, like draw your energy now into the body. You can even do the back of your neck, obviously a bit more gently, towards the neck and the skull, even around the head, even on the face. Bring in the energy. For projectors, it's going to be hard at times for us to sit down and meditate and do these things, but we can do it after we shock ourselves in a healthy way. It's not really shock, it's like empower ourselves back into our physical body. If we don't do this, we are just going to, our energy can be scattered everywhere. It can be open, and it can be like tuning into other people, tuning into other people's thoughts. So when you wake up, first thing, just bang yourself back into yourself. Do it on the back of your kidneys, lightly, on your pelvis, all the way down onto your feet. Really tap yourself back into your body and see, as we now start to come back, slowly see how different do you feel just from, like, I don't know, we might have done that for 1 minute or something. Yeah, just reading one of the comments. Bang yourself back into yourself. That's, yeah, I think I said that. So that's pretty much what we are going to be doing. I highly suggest that this is one thing that you do. Another thing you can do is earthing or grounding. So implement this into your morning routine. Physically touching your feet on the earth, on the ground. This scientifically is being studied, and it bathes yourself with negative electrons, which actually act as antioxidants in the body. We are very disconnected from our earth right now. Most of us wear rubber soles. Some people might not touch the actual earth once in a year. I'm not sure, people go out with their shoes. But actually, to have a practice where you can put your feet on the ground. An even stronger thing to do would be sitting on the ground with a tree behind you, your spine up against the tree. Breathing down into the spine, breathing down into your pelvis, and feeling the strength, stability, and groundedness of the tree. These are suggestions specifically for projectors. You can create your own morning routine with what works for you. And another thing that I would mention is social media boundaries. So choose a time where you don't look at social media in the morning. Whether that's, okay, I'm not going to look at it for the first half an hour of the day. If you, once again, you allow the energy of social media to come in, it's like you're literally welcoming any frequency into your mind at the start of the day. And that can be a risky thing because you're not sure what's going to come in. You're not sure what message you're going to get. You're not sure what you're going to read. And you can't take that back. Yeah, the more we become grounded, the more we have emotional maturity, emotional regulation, working with our nervous system, then the less rocked we get. So the more stable we are within ourselves. That's ultimately where we want to get to. But on the way to that, we don't want to open ourselves up and become susceptible to being rocked at the start of the day. So create an intention. First 10 minutes, first hour, first half an hour. What works for you, where your focus is on you. It's like, okay, I'm waking up and this is what I'm doing. I'm doing some slow movements. I'm tapping myself. I'm going outside, if it's cold, I'll at least look up to the sky, take a few deep breaths, or I'll go and actually physically touch the ground and ground. And then there's many other things that you can do that you can add in. I'd recommend keeping it simple at the start so you can maintain and have a regular practice, because from that, you'll feel strength come into your system. You'll be honoring your word. You'll be honoring your agreement. You'll be honoring this. And you'll start to feel empowered as a projector. And then as you go into the day, you'll be going into the day more empowered, launching from yourself, your frequency, rather than having it pulled and scattered when you wake up. And then it's going to be, it can rock your day, like the whole day. It can really create an imbalance moving forward throughout the day. And it can just be a cycle. And then you're imbalanced, you go to sleep, you wake up, you look at your phone again, boom, you're out again. And it can be this cycle where it's up to you to claim your life for yourself. This is an important time. I can't stress that enough. This is an important time. We're in an extremely important time. I don't think we've actually seen the physical manifestation yet of how extreme a time we are actually in. So the more that we can just create a frequency within us, support each other, and come into the world from this projector nature, which is more abundant, which is trusting, which is slightly feminine in nature, which is receptive, which is wise, all these incredible qualities, bringing that will have huge benefit for ourselves, the life that moves through us, and also for anyone that we come into contact with. Okay, so let's all just take a breath or two. Once again, just dropping down, grounding, feeling the lower part of our body. Okay, now, as I've mentioned, at this time, extremely important to take care of ourselves and our close ones. So our immune systems can be slightly more vulnerable. Why? It's because our aura is outwardly focused and it absorbs things from our environment. So when we're outwardly focused and absorbing, this is why boundaries are so important. This is why it's important to have good self-care practices. This is why it's important to have a supportive network of people that understand you. This is supportive to be putting the right things in your body. All these things. This is why it's important. Also, the projector energy is sensitive. We are sensitive in nature. So that can create a greater impact from our other frequencies, other people. They can have potentially a greater impact than what someone else might feel. So if someone's in fear and they're carrying this frequency of fear, it could impact us more greatly than the average person because of our sensitivity. Yet, come back to a center, come back to groundedness, things that I've shared. This will help. This is the first step for you really coming into your truth alignment if you start implementing these things, if you haven't been doing these or some of these things already. And another reason why we are slightly vulnerable is because we magnify and amplify. Within our open centers, specifically our open sacral center, we can amplify this energy. So once again, if we're around frequencies that are maybe not the healthiest for us, we can amplify this energy, which is not healthy for us. It's not healthy for our immune system. It's not healthy for our overall frequency. So just really wanting you to know the importance, if you haven't been doing some of these things or you haven't been putting yourself as a priority, now is a great time to put yourself and prioritize your wellness, prioritize your health, prioritize your energy, your frequency, what you're carrying in this world. If you do go into social situations, ask yourself the question, is this really mine? Or is this a frequency that I'm picking up on? I wouldn't get too much into your head about it because this could just be a distraction. But just notice if you're feeling a sense of anything that you're like it could be anger, could be frustration, could be depression, could be sadness, and can be positive as well. Like we can amplify positive emotions. But if you're feeling sort of these like intense lower emotions that are feeling heavy, just notice, and you're out with people like, is this me? Okay, well, let me remove myself for a few minutes, come back to myself, ground, re-enter, and you'll start to know whether it's you or whether it's just picking up the frequency of others. And also connecting with other projectors. This is another thing that I really want to share the importance of. Connecting with a healthy support system. And if it can be projectors, whether it's a friend, it's a coach, it's a community, whoever it is that can understand you. I know many projectors who have many other projector friends. And there's this sense of relaxation. There's this sense of like exhale, of like when they're with them, it's like, I can just be myself a little bit more than maybe I could with other people. Because there's a similar resonance, there's a similar understanding, a similar frequency. And yeah, so creating that, if you know other projectors in your life, maybe reach out to them, maybe speak to them, maybe share some things and take it from there. And that could be very supportive for you at this time, and also supportive for them. And I say that's a win-win. Okay. I'm going to now be sharing a little bit about my in-depth 8-week training. So for those of you who are interested in going a lot deeper and creating a really solid container for your transformation, groundedness, then feel free to listen, and this will just go for another 5 minutes or so. And for those who are going to head off, I hope you enjoyed your time and learned a lot and discovered a lot and can implement some of these things within your life. I'm going to put a link to the training just in the comments section. So you can click this. and then I'm going to share a little bit about. So that is the link that you can click, which will go into more detail about this training. And I'm really excited. I haven't actually run a live training in over 8 months, and this one begins in about 2 weeks. And this, I'm really excited because this is something that is dear to my heart: health, vitality, projectors. And what I have created and put together, I'm really excited about. I've pulled together some really incredible experts, and the people who choose to come on this journey with us will be greatly rewarded in health and well-being. There's a pre-sale currently, which goes for 5 days, and this is a discounted price plus the bonuses, which you can see throughout the link, so you can have a look there. It's an 8-week training. There'll be 8 live calls. There'll be 8 live meditations. There's an international energy healer who is incredibly profound at realigning energy, an Ayurvedic practitioner, and an integrative counselor, all being projectors. So this is really exciting to bring everyone together to create a sense of, this training is called the Inner Circle. So it's going to be highly hands-on and transformational. 3 main focuses of this training: wellness and health. So after the 8 weeks, you will make huge steps in the direction of your own health and well-being, and this will impact the rest of your life in a very positive way. Deconditioning. So to actually sink in and experience and feel the projector rhythm, to let go of old patterns, to let go of conditioned patterns that are holding you back. So deconditioning will be a huge focus of this 8-week journey. And then grounding into yourself. This is a sense of coming home into yourself, to experience, have the actual experience, the felt sense of what it is to be at home in your physical body, to bring your presence home. This is really vital at this time. So week 1, briefly, is going to be all about deconditioning, which is the master key for projectors to move into alignment. Week 2 is about nutrition. It's going to be about diet, glands, supportive herbs. So you'll receive food recommendations, shopping lists, recipes specifically for projectors. As I've mentioned already, the Ayurvedic practitioner, Dr. Carmen, will be sharing ways to balance as well and heal as a projector. Week 3, we'll be getting in touch with the feminine essence, the feminine quality of being a projector, which is this receptivity and becoming like a magnet to draw in opportunities, to draw in vitality. We live in a world that we think we have to chase and force. The projector essence is the opposite of this. So this is something that I'm excited to share with you, because this has been a journey for me as a man, weaving this essence, weaving this energy of femininity into my being and feeling what that's like, and to operate from that flow is a beautiful feeling, and it's natural to us projectors. Week 4 is more about the masculine flow. So energetic management, grounding the energy, receiving practical structures, processes, routines, rhythms for you and your projector nature to implement in your life right now. Week 5 will be all about the subconscious mind. So it'll be a subconscious mind transmission to support your mind and align it to wellness and vitality. Week 6 is going to be like an advanced wellness week for your vitality. So we're going to be focusing specifically from the projector nature, how to increase your vitality in a rapid and fast way. So this is, yeah, I guess, get ready to learn things that you don't know. Get ready to understand yourself at a deeper level, and get ready to experience your health and well-being after this week in a new and profound way. Week 7 is going to be a powerful week. It's all about bad habits and addictions and these old patterns that have a bind on us. And we're all bound in certain ways. And the more deconditioning we do, the more we see how bound we are, down to the deepest level of our energy, of our mind. And this is going to be a profound week, because a projector, an integrative counselor who works with specifically this, will be coming on and powerfully sharing about ways to release these habits and move into ways of being that are genuinely healthy for you as a projector. And then week 8 is going to be all about projector hacks. So we all like hacks, we like secrets, finding out about things that we didn't know. And this week I'm going to be sharing what took my life to a whole new level, how I ultimately moved into alignment as a projector and moved into success and moved into freedom and abundance and relaxation and health and these essential qualities that are at the core of our nature. Week 8 is going to be about that. At the moment, there's a 5-day pre-sale. There's going to be a bonus webinar that will be held next week. So before the training starts, just for people who join in this time. And there's also a 30% discount on the training. This is a live hands-on training. I'm very excited to go on this journey with a group of projectors who are putting their health, wellness first and foremost at this time. And it's an important time to do so. So that brings us to the end of this projector webinar. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you got something from it. I hope that you can take something and actually implement it in your life. And for those of you who choose to join me on the 8-week training, I'm really excited to see you there. So without further ado, sending lots of love to you all at this time, and we will be wrapping it up there. Thank you for all the beautiful comments. I see them coming in and really appreciate your presence and support on this call and your energy, because it really does make a difference when we all show up and choose to put ourselves first and choose to put others around us as well and have an impact on them. Because one of the greatest changes we can make in this world is shifting us first, shifting our internal experience to then ripple out and have a positive impact that way. Okay, all the best, and I'll be seeing some of you very shortly. Bye for now.